Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with the What a Deck profile for the NESS deck. If you don't know, that is Nimble Earthbound Superancient Synchro. Quite a hodgepodge. I'll just get right in and explain everything in here, and then I'll explain how it works. So we've got 2 Earthbound Immortal Chacu, the whale one. We've got 3 Super Ancient Deepsea King. We've got 3 Mermail Abyss Spike, 3 Fishborg Archer, 3 Nimble Sunfish, 3 Nimble Momonga, 3 Nimble Manta, and 3 Nimble Angler. For spells, we've got 2 Dark Holes, 3 Terraforming, 1 Foolish Burial, 2 Twin Twister, 3 Black Garden, 3 Jar of Avarice, and 3 Call the Haunted. For our extra deck, we have 1 Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, 1 Darkstrike Fighter, 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon, 1 Gungnir, 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, 1 Black Rose Dragon, Sea Dragon Lord Gishladon? Whatever. Armades, Ally of Justice Cataster, High Speed Roid Chanbara, Castel, the Skyblasting Musketeer, number 47 Nightmare Shark, Super Quantal Mecha Beast Grand Pulse, Sky Cavalry, and Gachi, the side deck I'll go into in a moment. So this deck is kind of a weird hodgepodge. Your most common play is to get out Super Ancient Deepsea King. If you're unfamiliar with him, you can discard 1 card to special summon as many level 4 or lower fish-type monsters as possible from your deck. But those monsters have their effects negated, and they cannot declare an attack. But you can tribute with them, and you can synchro summon with them. So basically, you're going to use his effect to get out your 1 tuner, which is Fishborg Archer, along with a level 4 and a couple level 2s, and you're going to make all sorts of different things, depending on whatever your need is. It's kind of a toolbox deck in that regard. Although most of the time we end up making Trishula, because why wouldn't you make Trishula? He has an additional effect that if this card is targeted by a spell trap or monster effect, you contribute 1 other fish-type monster to negate and destroy. So it's pretty good. Trishula is a 9-star, so if you get the 3 plus the 4 plus a 2, you'll be able to make Trishula and still have 1 like Nimble Sunfish left over to stop if they negate him. And he's 2,800 on his own, so that's pretty good. So how do you get this guy out? You need 2 tributes. So part of it is we play Black Garden. Anytime your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, its attack is halved and you'll get a token. So you can use that to rank up a whole bunch of tokens on your side of the field, especially if they're like Ixie summoning. They'll have to summon 3 times essentially, and you'll have 3 tokens and they'll get the 1 attack, and then you can use the 2 tokens left over to tribute summon for this guy. Alternatively, a lot of these Nimble monsters float. Your big one is Nimble Angler. If he's sent from the deck or the hand of the graveyard, you could special summon 2 Nimble monsters from your deck. Any of these guys. So there's a couple ways to get him in the graveyard. The most common, Foolish Burial. That'll just instantly proc his effect. You can also Twin Twister, because even if it's sent by as a cost, that still works. You can send him with this guy's effect, although normally you don't want to. Abyss Spike, if you summon him, you can send this to the graveyard and add your tuner to your hand, and so that'll set up for a lot of your plays and stuff like that. Nimble Sunfish, if this card is destroyed by battle, you can send 1 fish-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, so that also sends Nimble Angler. You can also summon another Nimble Sunfish from your deck, which is good because that'll let you get 3 monsters on the field when they destroy 1. Nimble Momonga, if he's destroyed, you can summon up to 2 other Nimble Momongas and face down, and you get 1,000 life points. Least useful of the 3, but if they just got the 1 monster, you can get 2 tributes in 1 turn, or at least stall for a while. Well, actually, the least useful is Nimble Manta, because he can summon up to 2 Nimble Mantas from your deck, but only if he's destroyed by a card effect. That's why you play the 2 Dark Hole. If you really need to, you can normal summon one of these, dark hole their field, and then get 2 more Nimble Mantas out. Normally though, if I'm going to be using this guy's effect, I'll get 1 Fishborg Archer, 1 Abyss Spike, and then 2 of these. Or if I'm using Nimble Angler's effect, I'll get 2 of these just to use as tribute fodder for a rank 2 or whatever. These are just fodder. You normally don't want to play these. So that's all that works. Of course, we also play Chacu, which is the Earthbound Immortal. He has 2,900 attack. He can attack directly. Your opponent cannot target him for an attack. And once per turn, instead of attacking, you can inflict damage equal to half his defense. So he's really good with Black Garden. Oh yeah, all the Earthbound Immortals, if you don't know, they need a field spell in order to summon them. If you don't have a field spell, they die instantly. So they're kind of weak, that's why we only run 2. But if you can get a lockdown sort of set up with Black Garden and this guy, like even if your monster's attack is halved because of Black Garden, you can put this guy in defense mode. They won't be able to get over it with 2400, and you can just keep inflicting 1200, and 6 turns later they're dead. It's a little bit of a stall, it's a little bit of a grind, but it's worked from time to time. Or you could just get out if they have a field spell and attack them for 2900. Sometimes that can make a game. And the same thing applies, all the things that you use to get tributes, the Black Garden tokens, the Nimbles, that all works for this too. Other than that, we just got Terraforming to get Black Garden. Jar of Avarice, you want to reset your deck as much as possible because a lot of these Nimbles, they summon out things so fast that you'll run out of stuff. So you just want to send it back, then you can reset. Like you summon your 2 Nimbles, and then once 2 of them one of them gets destroyed, you send the other 2 back into your deck with Jar of Avarice, and then you can continue the cycle. It's also good for like you make Trishula, then Trishula gets destroyed by something. You can just Jar of Avarice him back into the extra deck, and then summon him out again. Same with any of these synchros, which is why we only run 1 of any of them. And finally, Call the Haunted. Just good for getting this guy back out of the graveyard. Sometimes you need a synchro, you can get your tuner back out of the graveyard. Oh yeah, one more thing I should mention about the tuner. So, if this guy is in your graveyard and you control no monsters, discard a card, special summon him. If you discard Nimble Angler for this, then obviously you can get 2 more Nimble cards from your deck and you have an instant rank 7. If you have a normal summoned, you can add another one, and there you go. So he's another way you can make a lot of these rank 7s, even a rank 9, levels. Sorry, I'm so used to Ixie summoning. I don't synchro very often. But you get the point. The one thing to keep in mind with him, though, destroy all non-water monsters you control at the start of your battle phase this turn. So if you don't get Trishula, or the Sea Dragon, or Gungnir, you don't want to go into your battle phase. Wait a turn, otherwise your stuff's going to get destroyed. I've made that mistake far too many times before I learned it, so make sure you got that. As for the actual extra deck, the most important ones, obviously Trishula, Dark Strike Fighter's just there for burn damage. Clearwing Synchro, very good in combination with Deepsea King and the Earthbound Immortal because it stops your opponent from targeting them with effects. Gungnir I never use because you rarely have the card advantage in your hand, but he's an option. Moonlight Rose Dragon, good against certain decks. Black Rose, obviously, you want to blow up the field a lot of time. This guy had never gotten out, but he seems like he would be good, because when a face-up level 3 or lower monster on the field is sent to the graveyard, his attack becomes 3,000. So, if you can, like, crash one of your Nimbles into something, even with Black Garden, he'll go up to 3,000, then he can get over anything. We play our 2 level 5s, just Armades to get over flip effects and stuff, and Cataster to get over stuff that, like, it's way too high in attack, unless it's dark. Oh, this is level 5, too. Yeah, so those are all just a couple. Oh, and this guy, Chanbara. This guy's actually really good with Black Garden, too, because he can attack twice, and he'll gain 200 attack every turn. So he starts out with 1,000 with his attack halved, but you can attack over all their tokens faster than they can keep them, and he'll keep gaining attack. After a couple turns, you can get him up to, like, back up to 2,000 or 3,000, and then no matter what they summon with Black Garden, they won't be able to get over this. They'll have to get rid of Black Garden first. We have the 1 level 4, in case you get 2 Abyss Spikes out. It's happened a couple times, but very rarely. We've got 2 level 3s, Nightmare Shark, who can attack directly for 2,000, and Grand Pulse, who just has 2,800 defense, that works really great with Black Garden again, and you can blow up spell traps. You can get these out a little more consistently because you can special summon Fishborg Archer from the graveyard, and then normal summon another copy of it. You wouldn't think that you'd have 2 of these very often, but I make these quite a lot, actually. And then finally your rank 2s, because you can summon all these 2s. There's not very many good ones, but Gachi works pretty good, again, in conjunction with Black Garden, because you're getting more. And this is for getting rid of pesky things. So finally, we have the side deck. Stuff I would actually... Well, first of all, if you're not like me and you don't dislike playing one-ofs, Skill Drain works really good in this deck. Mostly just for this guy, because then it doesn't matter if you have a field spell or not. He's just going to have a 2,900 beat stick. You have a 2,800 beat stick. You could just make some big things. All these effects that activate in the graveyard are not going to be affected by it. So you can still tribute summon your big guys. Torrential Tribute also good, especially if you get Nimble Manta. Actual side deck cards, Skill Prisoner, because your biggest fear is getting targeted, especially for this guy. I only play him at 2, but if you wanted to play more, you definitely want to consider Skill Prisoner. If you need more like Spell Trap Destruction, well, first of all, you'll probably want to play 3 Twin Twister. But if that's not even enough, then Fish Depth Charge is pretty good. Tribute 1 fish, destroy 1 card on the field, draw 1 card. Pretty nice. It speeds up the deck a little bit, especially for stuff like this that you want in the graveyard. Works out pretty well. Everything else here is just extra options to consider. This works with tokens, so it's kind of good with Black Garden. You can make Mistworm, although sending stuff to the hand isn't quite as good as it used to be, especially against pendulums and stuff like that. I originally had a Malefic Stardust Dragon in here, because if you control him, your opponent can't destroy Black Garden with effects, but you have to have Black Garden to have a Malefic on the field. So it was just too dependent on Black Garden that I had to, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to swap out the Earthbounds, this is probably a good substitute for that. Of course, you also have to play Stardust Dragon if you're going to be doing that. Any Earthbound Immortal deck can use this Hardened Arm Dragon. This is pretty cool. If you could send 1 level 8 or higher monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon it. If you tribute a monster with this, it can't be destroyed by card effects. So this is the opposite. If you didn't want to play the Super Ancient Deepsea King, put in another one of these, another Malefic Stardust Dragon, and then Hardened Arm Dragon. So you can discard either one of those to summon him, and then even if they blow up your field spell, your Earthbound Immortals won't be destroyed by card effects. Royal Swamp Eel. This is an interesting level 4 tuner. If he's used a Synchro material, all other materials must be fish type. You can use him with Super Ancient Deepsea King. It might actually be preferable, because then you can make 2 level 8 Synchros by getting 2 of these and 2 Abyss Spike. Unfortunately, he doesn't work with the tokens, because the tokens are plant, they have to be fish. There's a couple instances, also if you have Nimble Momonga. If you wanted to make a more pure Super Ancient deck, I'd definitely go for this, because then you can make Red Dragon Archfiend and other level 8 Synchros. You have opened this up a whole lot more. And finally, these two, they were originally in the deck. They still have some use. Deep Sweeper, again, this is more Spell Trap Destruction. Tribute it to destroy 1 Spell Trap on the field. The good thing about him is that you can summon him with this guy, and even though his effect's negated, it activates in the graveyard. So you could tribute him, blow up a Spell Trap. It was good originally before I discovered Abyss Spike works really well in this, because then he's a level 4, so you can make Trishula easily. And then if you don't want to make Trishula, if you just want to make Armades and then blow up a Spell Trap, that works too. And then Screech. If this card's destroyed by battle, send 2 water monsters from your deck to the graveyard. This is another way to activate Nimble Angler. He's also level 4, he's also water. He's not quite as good as Abyss Spike, because you have to crash him into things, but you have the potential, if you have nothing but this, if you top deck this, you can send 2 Nimble Anglers and get 4 monsters from your deck, and just set up a whole bunch of rank 2 plays. So if you want a more rank 2 heavy, that'd be that. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Hope you enjoyed this crazy deck. Next week will be something a little special for me. Until then, good luck, have fun.